How's it going, everyone? And welcome to a proper No Excuses episode instead of last week where all the news websites were down, so we had to do a super filler show on YouTube.com. Of No Excuses, with your favorite show hosts, Still,
Fenarian,
and the remains of Olasel.
Yeah.
And we bring the latest news and commentary on the video games industry for the week, or we would if there was anything to talk about. I don't know if there is, because I haven't done an iota of research this week.
There's a little bit, but oddly enough, it's not video games.
If you'd like to get involved with the show, you can do so by sending us email at noexcusesvtw@gmail.com. You can follow us on the Twitter at noexcusesvtw, or you can join us in our Discord server, which you can use to post spicy memes and talk to other listeners to the show and to the show hosts at any time. And you can get there by clicking on the link that will be provided in the show description underneath the show archive on YouTube.
Yes,
Yeah.
you too can come get arrested.
Yeah, well, it depends on how authoritarian your government is. But, I mean, exasperating Fern makes it all worth it.
Yeah, it does.
I think I just bumped the gain button on my mic, Fern, so you might want to check
You're,
my levels.
you're a little bit off, but that's fine for now.
I'll crank it up here.
Alright, so let us dive straight in with both weeks, and I'm in the garden. This is an aloe plant. This would be incredibly painful to land on.
Yes. So, me and Fern have been playing Final Fantasy this week, so
Yeah,
I'll be mooching on your week a little bit.
that's alright. We pretty much did the same thing anyway.
We did a whole lot of crafting, and I have something new to show off.
Yep. Firstly,
But
I'm going to
first-
show my
oh.
house, which is not here yet.
Well, you hope it's your house. You got to win the coin flip.
Yeah, that meme you posted, actually. Maybe post that in general chat, or in the show chat, actually, if you still got
The
it.
one I sent. Oh, the one I sent you.
It is the
with
most
suits.
perfect summary of my situation. I bid on that block right over there, maybe within half an hour of the blocks opening up. I got up at stupid o'clock in the morning, I set the bid, and then I went back to bed.
I loaned him the money to do it too.
Yeah, which I need to
Are you
work back.
allowed to speculate on property? Like, can you sell a house to a person, or can you only put it back on the market?
No,
think-
you can only when your house gets demolished, it just goes back on the market. You can't sell it as a player.
Yeah.
So, can I bid on this to give Fern more chance of getting it and then just demolish it so that it'll go back up?
It may not work because next time there'll be even fewer houses up, so the competition for open houses will be even tighter.
Yeah.
I see.
So, but in theory, if we had infinite open plots, you could, but we don't have infinite open plots.
Yeah. So
So last week, for those that are not following Final Fantasy, five or six new wards opened up in every single district.
yep.
So there is new houses. 2 of those are free company wards, and the others are for 2 are for individuals only, and 1 is for mixed. I think that's how it goes. I might have the ratios wrong, but they're distributed amongst those 3 groups. This is a mixed ward that we're in right now. This is where I built my house.
Yes,
That
which
I
is
want.
right here, and it is very ottery.
It is very pink and very otter.
Ooh,
It looks like a Moogle.
my wyvern's been map actually sold for.
Oh no,
quite a hefty hobby.
there's a Moogle. There's a Moogle house.
Yeah, you do not want the Moogle house.
Yeah, you don't want the Moogle house. It is the one of the uglier ones on the market
Yeah,
that
the
you could
king-
possibly
Oh,
get.
I'm sure people love to use it then.
The King
Oh,
Mogglebog
yeah.
post box is acceptable though.
Well, that's the only type of post box you can have.
Oh, okay. That's a shame.
You have to get a post box with a Moogle on it. So
I mean, he
Fern,
is only slightly genocidal. It's fine. You can put him on a mailbox.
So yeah, I have an otter house. Fern bid on this property up here. He's hoping to win it so we can be neighbors. We'll
Yeah.
see. He's got to win the coin flip.
But
Abo
of all
actually
the
won a
houses
medium
in
house
the
up there.
lot, someone had to bid on mine, and I'm only
Opposed.
somewhat salty for it.
I posted that meme in live show chat that you
Yeah.
wanted me to post. So
Walk past all the empty lots and bid on mine. You jerk.
my upstairs ain't done yet because I ain't had that much free time this week. But it's just got lofts and partitions, still work in progress inside. But
I felt like I just walked into an MC Escher painting.
It does a little bit, doesn't
yeah,
it?
it's not done. But the downstairs, however,
There's a
is
plush
very
pile.
done.
Alright, yeah. The downstairs, however, is Dunzo.
Well, it's got a few little things I want to do to it. I want to do some scooching and get some more knickknacks that cost way too much money, but the
Yeah.
general layout is done.
I'm disproportionately bothered by the fact that your two side-by-side waterfalls have identical patterns of stones.
That's why you hide it behind wall-hanging shrubs and things.
Yeah, I did have them more mushed together, but didn't like it. So I scooted them apart. There are things I can do to the wall, but this is the downstairs.
Yeah,
So I has a house.
it does.
Of course, I put a bar.
Don't sharks die of asphyxiation if they can't move forwards?
Probably, but I needed a placeholder fish for the tank, and the sharks were super cheap.
Yeah. I appreciate the presence of this giant stogie, by the way.
Oh yes, I put that there because I'm like, I need a cigar here, and also I figured it would trigger people to come in the house. So it's at my spot.
It just adds that even though everything is all nice and gold, apparently, yeah, it just adds that little bit of sleaze.
Well, it adds a touch of home to it because it's actually my residence.
Did I stutter?
And then, yes. And then we have this over here.
Yes. Secret tunnel! Multiple secret tunnels, actually.
Yeah, double secret bookshelf.
Yep, into the bathroom.
Yep, and into the bedroom.
Yeah. So it's come together really nice, and even though it's only a small block, you can still do a lot with it.
So it looks like you have no room to work in small houses when you first get them. It looks really tiny when there's no partitions or junk everywhere. But once you start plopping crap down, it feels like the space doubles in size.
Yeah. So it's a bit obvious that there's a secret passage here, but
Well, yeah, it's just kind of a door.
it's just kind
No
of
other door would fit there. That's another constraint with housing you got to work with is what can you fit and clip comfortably without it looking weird.
Yeah. I've had a bit of a play around with some of the bits, and yeah, some of them are just odd.
So there is actually ways to float and sink furniture into the ground. Like this piece, I'm not pulling it out because I can't get it back where it was.
Yeah, don't mess with it.
But this thing, this little water fixture in the wall that's pouring into the pool, the water fixture itself is massive and would go all the way to the ceiling. It has a giant basin attached to it.
Yeah.
I just wanted the water part though. So what I did was you can sink it manually in the game by attaching it to a piece of furniture and continuously lowering it into the ground. That takes literally like 30 minutes to do. So Abo's got the Dalamud plugin installed that has the housing speed up mod installed that lets you sink things instantly instead of having to constantly lower it over and over again. So I just get him to come in whenever I need to float or sink something.
Yep.
So, and have him do it. It's so weird they haven't just let you do that in the game yet. I don't know why.
They
Or
could-
spaghetti code.
Yeah.
Everything from my like very 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 brief experience putting up some basic
me.
furniture in my apartment, everything about that interface feels like spaghetti code.
Yeah, and you get weird things like the goblet pillars in particular like to act as floors that stuff tries to snap to, so you get floating furniture. So if I run into a pillar that's being a butt, like where my bed is, there's a giant pillar behind it that it thought was the floor. And
Yeah.
I had to get Abo to snap it through. Oh, here it is. It's in the corner over here. It kept trying to snap on top of that pillar.
Oh, yeah, down there. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've got a whole few ideas of to what I'm going to do with my place, but I got to get place first.
Yeah. I knew I wanted a aquarium theme first. I need to get fish for it now. That's going to be the fun part.
Yeah, I think the current forerunner idea is grill pit barbecue restaurant.
Yeah, you can do that.
I can do a totally
long
do a
as-
grill pit.
I'm okay with anything that's not a gingerbread house.
Yeah.
Please don't put a gingerbread house next door.
No. Like, the idea of putting a gingerbread house there to annoy you is fine, but I'd annoy myself more, I think.
Yeah,
just
you
not
you would
gonna
have
be
to you would have to suffer living in a gingerbread house.
Yeah.
So you sat with us while we built this week for at least a day and a half, really.
It took you pretty much all week to do most of this.
Yeah, there are people that have their whole large and medium houses done already. I don't know where these people, they must not work.
Either they don't work, or they came into it with a very solid idea of exactly what they wanted already.
Well, they probably just have free company people to help them.
That
Well,
too.
no, these are that too, but it's individual houses. Like I've met most of the neighbors and gone to see their houses, and they've got like their crap up already. I'm like, do you guys have jobs?
They are MMO players.
So no. I'm just going to
Like,
think very deeply about this unnecessarily expensive light fixture.
You have no idea how much that stupid thing costs me.
I'm sure you're going to tell us.
Well, actually, I don't know the cost because I went and farmed as much of it as I could. But if you take all the pieces together, it's probably about 800,000 for a stupid piece of coral.
Yeah.
That's not too bad.
It is pretty.
Considering what aesthetic stuff in this game often costs.
This stupid pool with the fish in it costs mint too.
Yeah,
But
that does.
I crafted as much of this crap as I could. And so you were asking about water crystals earlier? Most of this crap uses water crystals for obvious reasons.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I've been grinding carpentry this week.
One of the reasons why I haven't bought a house is because I'm just not really that aware of what furniture exists, so I don't have any ideas about how I would decorate it if I had one. So
There is a
I'm just not that
website
keen.
called FF14 Housing, I believe it's just called that, which gives you a showcase of not every option, but a good number of them. Enough that you can
Yeah.
start to put together ideas. Beyond that, actually, can I do it here? Let's see.
You should have editing privileges in my house.
I
so
should
you
have
be
editing
able to do it.
privileges, so I should be able to. I just gotta find where it actually is.
You go to
Housing.
housing. Yeah.
Preview
Preview
inventory
indoor
furnishings. So yeah, housing, preview inventory furnishings, and then you can just pick items in here and actually have a look. Can you guys see that?
No, we can't see the previews. Only you can.
So the preview is only I can see that there is a mystical ghost chair there now.
Yeah.
I could put the pieces of totally not horrifically sliced up Byakko around the place.
Please don't go buy a bunch of those and dump them in my house.
I may or may not leave the corpse of a primal in your house.
Abo keeps trying to dump dancing poles in my house.
He does.
Well, you dump wobble pillars in his house.
Yeah, but it wasn't the sloop pillar. It was just a wapple pillar.
Yeah. So yeah, some bits are big like this. This is a big ass bookshelf. It's designed to go up against the wall, but you've also got this actually kind of could serve as a divider as well because there's a partition. You got screens. There's partitions. These ones like that can actually match the wallpapers, I believe.
If it says blank partition, you can wallpaper it.
Yeah. Well, they kind of got the
Like,
slats on
I
it.
got the... Yeah, you see how I've got the partitions here that share the wallpaper with the bookshelf?
Yeah. All
That
these
that
ones here.
bookshelf, that trick bookshelf is about 5 times as big as it looks.
Yes.
It is completely clipped into the wallpapers, and the reason I got the Riviera wallpaper or the Riviera partitions is specifically because the bookshelf clips into it better.
Yeah. Unfortunately, and that is sunk right in... No, hang on a minute. Is that the right... Fairy door. Fairy door. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, it can be a bit weird as to where it actually puts the item when you first place it down, or in this case, preview it.
If it's wall mounted when you preview it, you'll only get to see half the item. It's bugged right now.
Yeah. Until you actually move it onto the wall.
Yeah,
But,
it's really buggy right now with the wall mounted ones.
But yeah, generally it'll put the item right where you're looking, which means for smaller items your character will block your view of it.
Yeah, so you gotta angle your camera down.
Yeah.
It's easier with, like, you know, a cat that isn't hunched over, that isn't 20 feet tall.
Isn't large. So yeah, like you got a bit of fine control here, and you can move things around. Well, some things you can move around freely. Other things just snap, and that's it.
Oh, you didn't show him the best piece of furniture in the house.
I did not yet.
It's in the bedroom. It's the otter lamp.
There it is,
The otter lamp.
the otter
You
lamp.
could turn it. You could turn him on and off.
Your
I don't make it a habit to turn on otters.
see, everyone's gonna make that joke.
I know. I had to buy a ton of the pet jellyfish to turn into these stupid jellyfish I have everywhere.
Yeah, but they work.
But Yeah, I just wanted random jellyfish everywhere. So, I still need to finish the upstairs. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet.
Yeah, this is what, revision maybe 6 of up here I've seen so far.
Yeah, it keeps changing. I haven't figured out what the heck I want to do with up here yet.
Yeah.
It's but the downstairs came together once I started putting just water crap around. I'm like, oh, this water thing looks good. Oh, this water thing looks good. Oh, this couch looks good. Yeah. And just it just kind of happened over the course of mostly an evening.
I find
the downstairs.
Yeah, I find design games and games that let you do that kind of thing, that sort of will just eventually happen.
Yeah.
Something in your mind just clicks, and then you know what you're doing.
Yeah. So, while I was doing all this and having Abo sync furniture and float it for me, because most of that crap isn't placed legitimately, we floated it.
Yeah.
The normal way you have to float stuff is a pain in the butt. You gotta get a table, and then put a loft underneath it. So you gotta put the table on a loft, and the item you want to float on top of the table, and then incrementally raise it and unhook the tabletop item from the table over and over again, repeatedly. Or you can get Abu who has the plugin and just have him float the stupid item.
Yeah, like there's mods out there that would just let you bypass a whole lot of fiddly, tedious work.
Every single house that makes it onto the housing websites, and Squeenix features them too, use the stupid housing plugin.
Yeah.
It is the closest Squeenix has come to acknowledging a plugin is featuring houses that blatantly use the plugin.
Yeah.
They've acknowledged plugins in the past. Why do you think we've got buff timers now?
This is true.
Yeah. So
we will find out when? Tomorrow?
Yeah, in almost exactly 12 hours.
Yeah. Whether or not I actually has an house.
Yep.
So yeah, 1 a.m. my time.
And yes, I have the Brute Justice song almost on loop the whole time.
Yeah, I've got the game sound turned off for the show. Brute Justice is acceptable.
Yeah, there's like 4 songs in that playlist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that was me kind of interjecting my week first because we needed to set up Fern's week.
It kind of worked anyway. So yeah, bulk of my week has been grinding up ways to make cash. Also make furniture, but mostly cash. But that means I've sat down, I've finished off Botany, got that to level 90 and finished off all the quests associated with that. Although I think I still got a couple of folklores to unlock there. For some reason, for the folklore tomes, you get them and they unveil hidden gathering locations, which will usually have endgame materials on them. For some reason, they are needlessly tedious to get. You need to... First, you get your gathering scripts just by handing in collectibles, which isn't too bad. Then you have to use those scripts to buy another token, which you take to the Splendors vendor. Then you can buy the book.
Yeah, it's a bit of a pain. But
yeah,
it lets you turn in toucans easier.
It does.
This is Bunny Boy's house.
There's actually a lot of really nice houses around, and they're really starting to come together.
Part of the reason I like this district so much, and this particular subdivision, is number one, there's no really wackadoodle houses. You don't have like your gingerbreads or your chocobo houses or any of the true atrocities.
Or your bright blue Kugane house.
Well, he's bright orange now.
Yeah, he changed. I'll take orange. Anything's better than that blue.
Yeah, 255 blue it was.
Yeah, it was. I got the picture.
I
was calling him Blue Manchu. His house was so blue before I met him.
Yeah, let me have a look at some of these other blocks. Has anyone actually bid on these? No.
Yeah, there's like 1 or 2 houses up here that still have 0 on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't really want to live in the Goblet. I like Imperium so much.
I do.
I know I'm apparently the only person in the game who does, but
I don't mind the Imperium.
I mean, my apartment is there, so I guess I can still hang out there. And the apartments they will never lose their use because of that market board, you know?
Yeah, it's like right there. It's always good.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
The reason I was sold on the Goblet, I didn't like the Goblet before until I figured out you could get poolside property.
Yeah, this is
I
the pool.
used to have when I was back in a free company back years ago. I used to live in the Goblet.
Yeah.
I had a room at the free company house.
So yeah, And most of the neighbors are really nice in this subdivision. I've talked to most of them.
There are a lot of Hingen houses, though.
Yeah, it's because it's the stupid bathhouse, and everybody wants the bathhouse.
Everybody
because
wants the bathhouse.
Number one, it's a bathhouse, and number two, it gives you more yard space to work with.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the house
Because-
I really
Where
want.
did you say was the club?
You want to go to Club Lust? It's behind.
No, I
Abel's
don't want to
house.
go. I want to know where it is,
Ooh,
so that
secret
I can
tunnel.
avoid it.
It's up here.
Tunnel.
Oh, I don't know where up here is. I've lost
I'm
track.
coming
of
to
you.
you. I'm coming to you. I'll take you
Incidentally,
to Club Lust.
that tunnel I went through is actually going to create a paradox for my house, potentially.
Oh
I mean, I
yeah,
guess I could bid on a property here, but I probably wouldn't use it for a long time.
just get it and hold it. Just change the exterior to something not the default and leave it sit.
Yeah.
Just wait until you want to use it.
Club Lust.
This is now the good news
That's
is
it up there.
yeah, this is it. If you click on it, you'll see why we call it Club Lust.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Now the good news is that guild has like 7 people in it, and 4 of them are alts. We went and looked it up on the lodestone just because we're paranoid about it.
Because you were afraid of the sort of riffraff that would show up in your district?
Yeah, so
You have seen some of the shenanigans that go on at such places.
but yeah, just grab one of these properties up here near Rainbow's house and just sit on it.
Actually, am I able to withdraw? Let's see.
No, you can't withdraw. Don't. You can't do that.
Boo! I gotta wait for it to time out then.
Yeah.
All right. In which case, I'm gonna have to try and pick a house that's not like ridiculously placed, or the shed. The shed's
Oh,
down
the
here, by
shed.
the way.
The shed that did somebody bid on the shed?
I'm gonna have a look actually. So yeah, you've
So-
got this large block down here on its own, and it's a really cool large block because you're kind of on this island. And down here, you got the little small block attached to it, which is the shed.
The
Someone's
shed.
bid on the shed.
So you're always going to be in the shadow of the manor above.
Yes.
Yeah. So you are their shed.
You are living in their shed. But yeah, someone's bid on it.
Oh, it's Kitty Cat. I know
Someone
Kitty
wants
Cat.
to live that shed life.
Let's not ruin their screenshots because they look like they're setting up screenshots there.
I might. Maybe I'll bid on this one here because it's sort of like there are no other houses nearby. And I can be as misanthropic as I want.
That's the
There any other
one
bids on it?
right up the top.
No participants.
There you
Yeah,
go.
grab that one.
Snag it.
Yeah, I'll just get this one.
Get yourself a house. Then we can all be in the same block if Fern wins this coin flip.
Which I shouldn't have to win.
If you don't win it, try and get one in the same words so we can all be in the same place.
Yeah.
Yeah, this seems like a nice misanthropic place to live. There's nothing else on this little plateau.
There are more misanthropic places. That one was going to be my second choice.
And
Yeah, but
and you
I'm also pretty close to you and Ari.
Yeah.
yeah, and you got direct pool access over here, just over the wall.
Yeah. This one over here
Alexis.
is probably going to be my second choice because it's
I
like the pool's
I-
through there.
I told you, Foos, one day there would be a reason to have a sloop glamour. Its time has come when you live next to a pool.
That's true.
I don't think that not living next to a pool would have stopped you for a moment.
Oh no, it didn't. It was already on the glamour plate. But now it has a reason to be on the glamour plate. Now I can water float. I've spent a ton of time in this pool just talking to people.
It's nice actually having the option just to have a small social area where people just kind of hang out.
No, there's Ibu. He's playing with the retainer bell. Or he was
Ding
playing
ding
with the retainer bell.
ding ding ding.
So, that is, that's the housing.
And yeah, that's the bulk of my week as well. It's just been grinding carpentry, getting that up. I haven't got it to 90 yet. I think I've got it at I got it at 69. Because
Nice.
I stopped. I got a class quest where I had to go after the masterwork books for carpentry and kind of got sidetracked.
Oh, I finally met the bees.
Da Bees! Yes, the
Bees-
Bees Guild.
The Bees Guild Free Company owns this house right on the pool. They are not a free company, traditionally anyway. They're just a husband and wife duo.
I see.
I see.
This is
So you
Chatty
mean
Cat.
they model it as a free company?
Yeah. If
And
they
do you
bought
mean
it-
husband and wife duo IRL, or they married each other in game, or both?
they're both, they said.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're married IRL apparently.
Means they get those sweet buffs.
Well, I haven't talked to the husband, but I met the wife.
Yeah.
The husband was with her, but he was AFK.
Can I jump
But
on
I
this
met
bubble?
most of the neighbors.
Aw.
They're all super chill and nice. Nobody really wacky except for Pimping Way.
Yeah, we don't talk about Pimping Way. Alright, should we
Pimping-
go and do Heaven on High or something during the show?
Yeah, we got Fern to level. We did a quick round of roulettes with him too this week and got him to 61 on his seminar.
Yeah. I'll quit my summon set, and I have the class gear, which looks horrendous.
Very twee.
I have winglings. It may or may not be recycled pajamas. Yeah.
I'm not quite sure why I find that so funny, but it looks ridiculous on
It does.
you. You look like an extra from a small girl's cartoon, except a lion man.
You know what? If a small girl's cartoon actually had a character that looked like that, I'd probably watch it. It's like Magical Girl Ore all over again.
Let me
Oh,
clear
I
a
should put some
slot.
clothes on because there's no pool here anymore.
Yeah, you probably should. Do I have a glamour that's actually... Yeah.
No, you have to wear that for the whole show now.
Really?
Yes,
I can't just put on my swimsuit?
that'll work. I will accept swimsuit.
Swimsuit's slightly better.
I will do a half swimsuit.
Or like sloot suit.
Isn't that just called armor?
No, it's called this one.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Alrighty, you going in as ninja ball?
Yeah, that'll do. It's my last level.
All right, make an empty slot, both of you, and then I'll send this in.
Yep. So, the other thing I did was a lot of grinding at Island Sanctuary, because there's a hat in there I wanted to... Ah, damn it. I should have actually gone and got it. Never mind. Let's see. Reset progress. I've got an empty slot. So yeah, I've hit level 10 on the Island Sanctuary this morning, and I'm kind of disappointed because nothing happened.
Yeah, it just kind of stops there. You unlock flying.
And the motorbike does appear in the shop.
Yeah.
Actually, I might create a hilt if you can do that here. Is that a thing? Ah, yeah, here we go.
Yeah, I think it is.
Since I'm capped out, I'll just make a grip.
Now, hopefully my my summoner bars are a bit more organised than they were. At least with summoner, you kind of reach a point, it's around about level 70, 80-ish, where you just stop getting new abilities. Or it just means your abilities start changing all over the place.
Yeah. Everybody got a slot?
Yep.
Enter Heaven on High with a fixed party. Since you're new to Summoner, we'll just start at floor 1.
Yeah, right. What is my Heaven on High gear set anyway?
Ah, dang it. My portrait broke. Oh, well.
Oh yeah, I'm still at level 58. So
Everybody's portrait breaks constantly.
yeah. Like, we're just using the default ones.
I'm going to kill the tunes in here because I've heard these tunes for so many
For
times.
some reason, Vol's default portrait looks like he's taking a blow to the head.
It probably has.
I do mostly play tank.
It's fair, actually. I gotta remember where I moved everything to!
Don't worry, I'll just pull stuff and kill it while you...
Oh,
Or
right.
you
I need.
line-
I keep
do-
forgetting. Need Kabi. There we go. Now I can
Oh,
Dreadwood
oh, yeah.
Chance.
Yep. You gotta turn it on before you gotta
gotta
turn Summoner
turn your
on before
class
it can do
on.
anything. It's not like tank stance. No. You
Nah.
just gotta turn the whole dang class on.
I suppose it's one of those things they couldn't just set it to automatically happen. Whap. So yeah, I've only played a little bit more Summoner, but I'm starting to get the feel of it. It's doesn't feel
it-
quite
Not
so...
exactly complicated.
No.
It is not even a competition. Summoner is
But
now the
I'll-
easiest class in the game.
I'll be totally honest. I found it so uncomplicated that it actually felt unintuitive to me.
Yeah,
But I keep looking for the other thing to press.
and that's the kind of the problem I'm running into. Is it feels like I should be doing more. Like I'm not even going to bother popping Dreadworm through here, honestly, because it's just nothing. But yeah, it just feels like there should be more going on. Oop, there's Rule 4, level 62. Especially after playing Machinist, where there's always a button to press.
That was in-game level up, not that was in Heaven on High level up, not your actual level up.
That was actually the level up. I was 61 when I came in. I'm 62 now.
No. We're all
right.
hit 60.
Yeah. Never mind me.
You don't get any Class C XP until you cash out at the end of the 10 floor set.
I can't brain today. Leave me be. Yeah, that's basically been my week. Is just grinding, lots and lots of grinding. Also putting up with the Ixali.
Yeah,
that quest. Like I know it was very experimental, and it's a lot better than it used to be, where they were kind of introducing the crafting beast tribe. But was it really necessary to have a pair of very substandard gloves, which you're never going to use again, as kind of the equipable thing for this?
I don't want to hear it. I've had them in my bag for literally years.
And you've never just gotten rid of them?
1 week they were used in the fashion report.
Yeah.
And I had to go back and get them.
Oh, they're like 8 gil. So, yeah, doing their quest line, their story's actually pretty good. It's not the worst. But it is just kind of tedious. And they do like sending you on world-spanning treks.
Wait till you get the fishing dailies.
Actually, I'm starting to get them already. Which is why I have a gear set for fishermen set up already. It's just like you're leveling crafting and carpentry, and then all of a sudden in these beast tribe quests, it's just go catch a fish. It's completely out of the blue. Just go catch a fish.
I need to dry my mouse.
Why do you have a moist mouse?
Because it's covered in beer.
I see. Moist.
So yeah.
Also, we should be eating these.
I was trying to help you a little bit with your crafting.
Yeah, but there's only so much you can really do. It's kind of a pretty heavily solo thing.
I do not RP walk.
Why are you dying?
I can't find the... There we go. Oh no, I didn't turn RP walk on. I accidentally hid myself.
Nah.
I discovered a trick on controller. If you're in a stop position and you hold circle and press the move stick,
you can RP walk?
You can RP walk without having to toggle it.
Huh.
I didn't know that until like a week or two ago.
Alright. I'm trying to think, was there anything else I really did for my week? But no, I don't think there was. It's just been a fairly low-key week, I think, for two of us anyway.
Yeah, Vol sounds like he died.
Yeah, we have Volsol's corpse with us.
And then they brought me back, and then I died again.
Yeah. Unless I wanted to talk about my slow descent, rapid descent into the madness of the rabbit hole.
Oh, I've been kicking him down the Hollow Life hole harder.
Yeah.
He hasn't needed much
been watching Pekora.
I looked into it yesterday. They've got a brand new Minecraft server, and already there's some sort of war going on between Hutcher and Pekoro. And Mumei's gotten herself involved in it by writing in the Hajime mode, and Kanata's just kind of collateral damage, and I don't know what's going on, but it's loud. So, yeah. There's been some fun streams that are watching. If you want just purified salt, you watch the Monopoly stream.
I heard that was something else. I haven't watched it.
It is. Like, they get... Callie gets kind of screwed over by Ubisoft's just terrible programming.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think Vesper
thought she was an active character from the game.
Yeah. I think Vesper ends up falling for the same fate eventually. Crony starts off quiet, but she goes full Fujoshi in the end of it. I don't think she even practiced that laugh. She just got the laugh. So, in typical Monopoly fashion, everyone walks away hating each other.
Yeah, well, you're not supposed to have successful games of Monopoly.
No. If you want to lose friends, you play either Monopoly or Mario Party.
I've heard Catan is pretty bad as well.
Yeah, Catan, that's a very slow descent into hatred.
If you
But it
wanna-
gives you a chance. It gives you a chance to build up and nurse grudges.
Yes.
if you want to hate one of your friends in particular, play Risk and have them start on Australia.
Oh, yeah. It's why you go to a lot of places and whenever they say you want to play Risk, they just say, no, starting in Australia. Gotta love that, those ocean defenses.
It's
So-
it's
Like,
limited
I've never
to
played
use
Risk
attack.
before. It's like a perfectly defensible position or something, isn't it?
It
It is.
has like 1 or 2 entry points on the map, and defense gets a bonus, so you can only attack it with the 1 at a time strat.
Uh-huh.
So taking it is a lost cause.
Yeah, basically you can sit there and just turtle the entire game.
Yeah, you can snipe off property or places in like Indonesia and in the Americas, and just sit there with the fallback of Australia if things go pear-shaped, and just wait and drag the game out.
Yeah, and then whenever the people let their guard down, you just move forward and take Indonesia again.
And God forbid somebody take Australia, because they're going to hold it with everything they got, and you're never breaking through it,
Yeah.
because the sunk cost fallacy will be in full effect. Because
So,
they will have wasted most of their resources to take it.
We're not going to play Risk, like ever.
Yeah, I don't want to play Risk.
It's also
Don't
kind
like
of
Risk.
big brain, and whenever I play board games, I tend not to want to be big brain.
Risk is not very big brain. Risk is it is just, I have these numbers, I run these numbers into these numbers,
Yeah.
but these numbers have the most obnoxious position in the world to take.
So yeah, there's been a lot of shenanigans going on the Hololive front, at least. Yeah, VTubers be crazy.
Oh, what stream was it that there was one clip I saw where Mume just pulls out a gun.
Oh yeah, that was
That's
from yesterday.
that's a thing. That's a thing. She does that on the regular.
Does she?
Yeah.
Yeah, she did it yesterday. Chat was playing up, so she just says "Oi" and raises up her avatar. She's got the gun.
But she's just stretching.
Yeah. But because I'm coming to it fairly late, there's like 3 years of content worth of stuff to catch up on. And the clippers, or the people who make the clips, are very, very diligent.
Well, they are, but what's unfortunate is, early on in Hololive's career, the big popular clipping channels were run by Chinese people,
Yes.
and
They all
All
have
the-
on life now.
yeah, they all have destroyed their channels, and along with them their clips, because of the Coco thing.
Yeah, that
Yep,
became
that's
a
what- that's what-
major deal.
That's what. It's just this is what happens when you've got a massive, several generations long brainwashing project run by the government.
But kudos to Yagu and the Hololive team. They didn't back down. They just said, you know what? No.
Well, I guess what you could call them doing is explicitly backing down, but in a very aggressive way.
Yeah, they walked out. They backed out of the room, but they had their middle fingers raised.
Yeah,
I do feel a
they
bit
just
sorry
axed
for
the
the
whole Chinese branch.
Yeah, I do feel sorry for the idols they had on the roster for China.
A bunch of them post, like 1 or 2 of them post axing came out as just as toxic Chinese anti as the group that was causing trouble.
I was like, well, like my mother always told me when I was growing up not to trust the Chinese.
Google, he can get away with saying that.
Yeah, she's speaking from a point of authority there. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, I've got the whole existing Hololive rabbit hole to go down, and YouTube is not afraid at this point just to throw any old random thing at me, and Half of the stuff, I'm just going to say, what the actual hell, and click on it. Like the whole Hollow Tempest underwear debacle.
I particularly enjoyed, because I watched it not too long after I built my PC.
Yep.
I watched it actually only about maybe a month ago. Not even. So
Yep.
a bit more recent than I thought. Time's weird.
Time is weird.
Them trying to build their PC.
I haven't watched that one yet, but it sounds like a disaster waiting to happen.
Well, because they do things like put the M2 drive in and goes, that doesn't look right. It's bowed. And they hold it up to the camera and they got their M2 drive almost bit in half.
How?
They didn't put the raising screw underneath it.
I don't like this. I mean, it was bad enough watching the Trash Taste Boys put their PCs together.
Oh, I'm not. Gigguk has a way of making a special kind of rage come out when he does something stupid, because when he does it stupid, that boy is incredibly dumb. He is pants on head retarded.
It was Joey who was
I've
the
never
worst problem in
watched
that
any
one.
of their content.
That's a massive time and sink if you're going to sit down. But there's a few bits and pieces you really actually should sit down and watch. They've
They're incredibly normy. They play everything safe and try to stay out of controversies and shoes and just be the boys.
Yeah,
But
which I appreciate.
Because they're so normy, they sometimes still slip into current issues.
Yeah.
I find normies frustrating. Like, I mean, the thing is that at least with HoloLive, like the difference between HoloLive and all the other streamers is that they are, because of Yago's dream, they are all fundamentally idols, which means there are things that they cannot say, meaning that they never trespass into shooting their mouths off over things they don't understand.
Yes. A few of them have come close, and they usually make a joke out of backing out of it, but that's as close as they get.
Well, they will catch themselves and play it off as a joke if they do, and they stop immediately. At worst.
Yeah, I think that the one that I think is probably in the most active danger of doing so is probably Kelly, because so many of her friends are from outside.
Yeah.
Like she collabs with people who sing, and people she knows from her previous life, as I suppose the etiquette is not to say.
Yes.
She involves herself with a lot of people which don't have that very tight restriction on what they can say.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, which is why she's the most outed member of HoloLive already. I think the most people have said her name on air.
Yeah.
Or said the name of one of her other alter egos on air.
Yeah. Although Coco's got that problem over in Niji Sanji now, that whatever her new character is.
Oh, Coco blatantly outed herself after HoloLive.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't say she was Coco, but she didn't exactly hide that she was Coco.
Well, the thing is that everybody still thinks of her as Coco, even if she's going as Kason.
Yeah. You're still the same person. Or I don't know if it's the same how similar the characters are, because I haven't watched any of her stuff as Kason, but
she is incredibly close to how she played Coco, because she did not play Coco with a filter.
No.
Yeah, Kason is basically herself, and Coco was herself under an idol contract.
I see.
Yeah, she did not apply a character. She just let herself be the character because she's already a clown and a cartoon character.
Yeah. There is
no assistance needed.
There is a fun little animation that I keep watching over and over again. The Honka Donka Badonkers animation.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think I know the one you're talking about.
Coco's trying to teach Toa how to say Honka Donka Badonkers, and Toa just cannot. And it is about as degenerate as you might expect.
Yeah, Coco do that.
She do that. So yeah, it's been a ride. And it's been a fun one, and it's not my fun ride I really honestly ever expected I'd go into. I think
Yeah.
Try not to get too sucked in by it. It's bad for you.
it is very, very bad for
It's
you.
like alcohol. You should only consume it in moderation.
Yes.
Like I will jump into the Hololive pit about once every 3 or 4 months and just check out what's going on,
Yeah.
and then leave for a while and come back. Gives it time to build up content and I'm adorable.
You are adorable. So yeah,
Oh
that's probably
my.
a safe way to do it. Is just let all the backlog fill out. All the people can filter through like what was good, what was not, what just kind of missed. And
I mainly consume it in the form of whole streams, but it's like all background when I'm doing something else.
yeah, I'll watch some clips and then I'll use the clips to determine which streams I want to watch. And sometimes that does mean going back and watching content that's years old in some cases.
Mostly, I watch clips of the Japanese ones because they're more likely to have translations, and sometimes I can't get the gist of what's going on from my comically limited Japanese.
Yeah. Though they've been very good about putting content out on debut as with subs.
Only on the official Hololive channel though.
Oh yeah, on the individual idols channel it varies.
We have no sites. We have no Aetherites. We have
We'll
one
do this the hard
petrification.
way.
This is
I'm
going to
gonna
be a
safety it.
big ass room.
All right, I'm gonna safety it.
Actually, I'm going to pop
I'm
this
gonna
too. Yep, safety it
fortunate.
because you get so many traps otherwise.
And I'm gonna petrify it.
All right.
Oh, did you fortune as well? Oh well.
Oh well. Namazu. Alright. So yeah, I think that's basically it for both of our weeks, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I just built my house. I don't have infinite free time. I couldn't even build both layers of my house.
Actually, do
I
I
can
not
only build half of a house.
do I not have Ruin 4 on my bar? I thought I'd forgotten something. Oh no, there it is. I do have it. Why is it there? Right, I need further Ruin, and I gotta learn how this class is working. But yeah, I now have the Bahamut, the actual Bahamut, I think.
Oh no, you don't. Well, does it say summon Bahamut?
It does.
Oh yeah, and you can summon the big dragon.
There he is.
And obstruct my screen.
Yes.
Oh, I have pets set to tiny, so summoners don't cause
He's
problems.
blue.
He is blue.
Also big.
And extraordinarily large.
Yeah, go away, Bahamut. You're large and in the way. Alright. So yeah, Vol, how much pain have you suffered this week?
It's been rough. So this was my first full week as the manager, and everything decided to go wrong.
Sounds
And it's not stuff that the previous manager did necessarily, and it's not stuff that I screwed up. It's just that everything decided that this was the week to put me to the test, and lots of things didn't go the way they were supposed to. We had positives and things which are not good for there to be positives in, so I had to fill out paperwork to notify the government and things like that.
just a
it
little
was
bit of
just-
E. coli, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's not supposed to be in the municipal water supply.
No, that's generally a place for E. coli to be. That would be bad.
Yeah. So yeah, there were lots of annoyances, and so basically I worked just shy of 60 hours this week. Because, well, I'm used to long hours, but I had a 6-day week last week, and I was already tired. So yeah, it's not great. It was pretty rough all week, and so I was looking forward to sleeping in this morning. And of course, at 8 o'clock, I got a phone call from my subordinates telling me, "Oh no, there's something wrong with the water purification system. There's water everywhere. The media room is flooding."
Oh no.
And they don't know what to do. And I told one of the guys who actually knows well, actually has some common sense to turn off the valves to make sure that it stops flowing, and then I had to drive all the way out there, and I mucked about with them. I swapped in some new cylinders. I'll have to figure out the fine-grained details when I go back in for the new week, but I had not planned to be up and about this morning, and so now I am very, very tired because this is basically my second week in a row of going into work 6 days. And I'm still, as we speak, working on my work laptop to my left here while attempting to do the show and play Heaven on High, because there is nobody else to approve results and send reports to customers except me. So, yeah. It's rough. I haven't played video. I'm miles behind on the current FGO event, so I'll probably have to do some catching up on that tomorrow. Try and get caught up and at least unlock the welfare servant before the event is over. I might probably have to flag all the more complex stuff. I'll get the important missable non-farmable stuff from the shop and then call it good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a rough week. I'm very tired, and there's not really anything I can do about it because apparently I can't sleep either.
Oh dear, not even any anime this week.
I've watched a little bit, but no new ones. I don't have anything more to comment on. Like, the ones that I've said previously were bad continued to stay bad or get worse, and the ones that were decent have really another big room. Have been, more or less running in their groove. I don't have a great deal more to say about that, honestly. Yeah. I was fortunate enough to pull the Princess Peko eventually on the free pulls.
Yep.
On Pinecone, but that's pretty much all that's worth reporting from there. Because I was so busy, I didn't really have chance to even sit down and properly exploit the triple drop rate, which is frustrating because I'd been waiting for it. But, yeah, well, you can't have everything. At least there's been a Battle Arena ranking reshuffle.
Yes.
Which has pluses and minuses, shall we say.
I can't do anything in there anymore.
Yeah, on the plus side, anybody new to the game now just gets shellacked.
Yeah.
And the AI characters that fill out the roster are some of them run meta teams now, but on the plus side, it's basically raining jewels for anybody with a halfway competent arena team.
Yeah, but I was doing okay before the reshuffle, and then it's like, yo, you're level 50, you can fight level 100 teams. Yeah, that'll be fine, won't it?
What could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong?
But yeah, so that's pretty rough. I don't expect that they will update those AIs as the meta moves, though. So probably they will be running incompetent, redundant teams before too long. The thing is that their level cap is not the same level cap as us. So you get some interesting things showing up sometimes.
Like the top bot is running a meta 6-star Peko, Coco, Lima, Magical Kasumi, and some other meta character, and is level 190. The current player level cap is 157. And for those not in the know with Pinecone, which is most of you, crit chance gets radically affected if you are under or above the level cap of the enemy you're hitting. As in, if you're like 10 levels or 20 levels higher than whatever you're smacking, every single hit's going to be a crit.
Yeah, it does make that early content go by so much quicker. But yeah, when it's happening to you on the receiving end, it's not fun.
Yeah, I'm running into issues of enemy Reno deletes your whole team.
Yeah.
That'll happen. But yeah, I don't really have much else to talk about because I just destroyed my entire week at work. Probably this coming week will not be quite so bad because we will have plus one person. Because we've got an individual coming back. Though I don't know exactly how well that's gonna work. There's a lot of things that I don't know as yet that I'm still trying to figure out. But yeah, I mean, this is just the realities of being the manager now, is that I have to take responsibility for all of these things, and eventually all of the problems left behind for me by the previous management will be turfed out in due course, and we've got some reasonable prospective hires in the works. It remains to be seen who will actually sign the contracts that they receive, because, well, the economy's not great right now. And my industry's not well compensated, so a lot of people will just like, you know what, I'm just gonna keep looking for a job. The type of thing is it's just bad all round. In most countries, I think the situation is more or less similar, though.
One moment, I just need to deal with this cat.
Is it Cato time now?
Cat.
There we go. Sorry about that. The joys of pet ownership.
Yeah, my controller died in the middle of this floor, so I had to go get another one.
Oh, that's been fun.
I have 2 controllers, just in case. Specifically for that scenario. What's in that one? Oh, it's strong. I want it strong.
You want stong?
All strong.
Yeah. Alright, we're a little bit, not at a good stopping point for a break, so padding!
Oh man, my bladder wants us to be at a good stopping point for a break.
I know, but we're mid-floors at the moment. But, yeah. Jeez, I can't think of a whole lot of anime I've actually watched. The only anime I've really been keeping up with so far has been the campfire cooking one. It's just dumb. And annoyingly wholesome. But mostly dumb.
Like orc meat.
I like delicious, delicious orc meat.
Oh, I can pad. Hang on, I'll go get the picture.
Yeah. Oh, that went bang.
It did seem a little bit derivative. I don't know where it's derivative from, but the eating orc meat thing is like a major running joke throughout. Combatants will be dispatched.
I see.
So I don't know where that joke started.
I gotta put physic on my bar. Hang on a sec.
We can just get off the floor, guys. The door's open.
Okay, let's get it.
You're spamming physic on yourself trying to get your health back.
Yeah, that's how awful physic is. I'm just gonna take it back off the bar again.
Yeah, it's literally not worth having on your bar. Not even for this scenario.
Yeah, because it scales with a stat you don't have.
Yeah. Why? Why Squeenix? Either get rid of it completely or make it scale so it's useful as a clutch heal.
It's because it's a class ability. You need it for your low level 16 Sestashes.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
You take damage in Sestasha?
That's a good question.
That's actually a good point. But yeah, it's a holdout for the from the whatchamacallit, Arcanist class. I can do winglings. Oh, more explosions.
I will post this so we can pad with it.
Oh no, what are you posting?
So, the best part of a new ward opening was everybody on day 1 that showed up to check their houses, most everybody got their house. And all the new homeowners showed up and we had a pool party.
Yeah, there's probably going to be another one actually next week.
Probably not.
Probably
because,
not.
I don't think quite enough new people are moving in for there to be another pool party.
I think there's only going to be about 4 of us now that I think of it.
I mean, I'll show up to a pool party if you want tomorrow, but...
You can splish about. Splish.
I don't plan to get out of bed.
But, yeah, it was just nice and wholesome. It was just a nice pool party at the Goblet Bar.
I think that's what we need, though, actually, one of these recently. Is just more wholesome. Everyone's too busy screaming at each other for one or another. We just need more wholesome time.
Well, there's some pretty good dang reasons to scream at people right now.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I don't know if you've heard, but the RP community in in Final Fantasy XIV is basically the lightning rod, which causes there to be no toxicity in the rest of the game, because all the toxic people are hardcore RPers,
Oh, that makes things convenient, doesn't it?
and the RP scene drives a lot of people away from this game.
Yeah.
That even people have been playing for years, because they're just so incredibly cliquish, I guess.
They're also disproportionately degenerate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, they're weeb RPers. That basically means that they're next to furries.
And Squeenix has done the next best thing to saying, yeah, ERP is okay, officially.
Well, it's
Yeah.
not like you can control it. Controlling it would be too hard.
Yeah, they've
Yeah.
managed to kind of put it behind a wall, though.
If you want to ruin your experience in a housing district, stand outside Club Lust, watch all the people that are going in there, and then think to yourself, them girls have appendages they probably really shouldn't with mods.
Yes.
And your opinion of humanity will drop by the second.
No, I just don't think thoughts like that.
They should, but they shouldn't. I don't know. Yeah.
I feel absolutely no need to think those thoughts. It doesn't seem like my responsibility at all.
Just, in case you wanted to ruin your life a little more, it's there for you.
Just a bit more ruining. Yeah, I'm glad actually with this new award we haven't had one of those big nightclub FC moves in. Because
Well, Club Lust brands itself as such, but it's 7 people.
it's 7
so
people. It's not.
There have been plenty of clubs open in wars that just die because nobody shows up.
Yeah, you basically you have to be a streamer or be really long established in order to have one of those things.
Or put a billboard in downtown Texas.
Yeah.
Well, that will attract a lot of attention. It's not necessarily good attention.
That was a shenanigan. That was.
Yeah, so, while Club Lust is funny to meme on because it's Club Lust,
I mean,
They're not exactly burying the lead on that one.
no.
it is, in reality, they are probably just gonna turn out to be a nothing burger.
Yeah, although I'd love it if you go inside and the extent of their lust is very silly pillow fights.
Oh, I was thinking of building a jail cell in my basement. Jail?
A jail cell.
Jail? My draw is trying to infect this so
It's
hard.
just trying to escape.
Jail cell in my basement to imprison Club Lust members that get too out of hand.
I don't think
Go to horny
that they
jail.
would. I think that this is not a good idea because I think that they might be too into that.
They get the wrong idea.
I'll leave them in there for a few days and forget about them. They won't be into it much longer.
Have you seen Dragon Ball Z's Broly movie abridged?
Yes.
Oh no.
Yeah. Remember the slave race?
I don't want to remember the slave race.
Yeah.
No, my name really is Daddy.
It's Daddy.
Daddy. Harder, Daddy. No, see, that one was Daddy. Alright, we are actually at a good stopping point, so we shall take a quick break.
Yep, we'll be right back. squeaky chair. I have to get it back into the pre-squeaked position.
Too late. You got caught on the camera with the squeaking. So we're back.
Yeah, we're back. I need to
With
get some
Sinorchi's
WD-40.
squeaky chair. We're more heaven on high.
Just a thing to do.
What patch is the next one coming out?
1.35.
Yes, which
I
could
fixed
be...
my portrait.
Oh, you did? You fixed your portrait. Okay, that's nice.
I can't even remember what you're supposed to do it. You've got to like unequip your gear and re-equip it or something, don't you?
You have to go. I can't do it here because the character menu won't pull up. But you gotta press the save gear set button in your character menu, and then go to portraits. Go to edit portrait, and then save the portrait without making any changes.
Yeah, it's
Right.
really kind of jank.
I'm gonna turn tank stance back on. Oh, that's not the range attack button at all.
There's the wrong attack button.
That's not an attack button at all.
Yeah.
That's AoE magic defense. Actually useful with these guys, at least.
Well, I mean, yeah. But it doesn't do anything to kill them.
That's true.
Alright, so as far as gaming news this week goes, there's been a couple of things. One I haven't looked too deeply into, but is big news. And I'm hoping you guys have actually something to know on this, and that is Blizzard's basically been banned in China.
I've been meaning to look into this for a while, but I haven't had the opportunity to do so. Like, I don't know what is even going on there. I just know that it happened.
I did see NetEase tearing down its statue of Gorehal they got.
Yes!
Yeah, that one went all over the internet. But it seems really acrimonious.
Yeah, like... Yeah, this is not a pleasant breakup between Blizzard and NetEase. And apparently it's been brewing for a while. There were rumblings of it last year, if I recall.
Yeah, well, they had already announced that World of Warcraft was ending last year.
Mm-hmm. So, congratulations, China. You're free from World of Warcraft.
Well, I mean, the thing is that it's probably ultimately that's just that they didn't want a cultural juggernaut like World of Warcraft in their country if they can't control it.
Mm.
Yeah, I guarantee you this has CCP fingers all over it.
Well, it's China, so everything does.
Yeah, they probably saw this and were like, no, I'm not opening that chest till my health gets higher.
Yeah, likewise. Vol! Yay! Nothing happened. So, yeah,
this
that's...
has been the minor story going in the background of other things.
The big story is, of course, the ongoing D&D shenanigans. We didn't touch on it last week because things were starting to get a bit highbrow and, you know, kind of going over our head with lawyers and all that, combing through it. But yesterday we got a kind of a surprise announcement out of WotC, and they basically threw in the towel, at least for now.
I can almost guarantee you this has nothing to do with what people are claiming it does.
I can almost guarantee that as well. So my thoughts on this is they came out with a very long statement. They actually had a pretty good statement that did not have any, you know, veiled insults or, you know...
Well, it ain't hard to be a step up. It ain't hard to be a step up from what they gave us last time.
Yeah, that last one was just straight up patronizing.
It was so insulting, I laughed.
Yeah, it was. It was just dreadful. Whoever wrote that press statement should just lose their job. That's...
Like, that is... You fire that guy.
You have no business being in PR.
Yeah, that was the worst piece of corpo literature I've ever read.
Yeah.
Or at least in living memory. I've read some pretty bad ones. If you gave me a bit, I could probably think of some worse ones.
Oh, there was one from Blizzard a few years back.
Yeah. But, yeah.
So, essentially,
what do you think it is first? I'll give you my theory after, because it's probably different from yours.
No, alright. We'll go through what they've actually done first. And that is they've put the SRD, the rules, basically, the core rules of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition under the Creative Commons license.
That is to say, every portion of them they don't actually have a trademark on.
Yeah, which actually does loosen the reins on some of the trademarks they did have, such as beholders. You are now allowed to reference a beholder. You can't actually use D&D's Beholder, but if you have something similar in your campaign, they're not likely able to get lawsuit happy about it. This is basically what everyone was asking for, is like the best case scenario for what Wizards could do to start building, repairing bridges.
I presume that this means that the 6th edition is coming shortly.
It is. You've got 1 D&D, as they're calling it, which is basically 5th edition with a bunch of changes. Most of which are good changes for dumb reasons. Like taking skill values or stat values off races, or species as they're calling it now, which is not the right word, by the way. Race is probably closer, but I like Pathfinder's heritages, actually, which works a lot better. But that's, semantics. The things like taking the ability score adjustments off races and putting them onto backgrounds and things. It makes for some more interesting character development and character creation. But instead of having APIs on the race is boring, let's put something more interesting there and we'll just move those somewhere else. They've done it because my inclusivity.
Basically, I'm not interested in hearing any excuses for doing that whatsoever, ever, until there are stat differences between the sexes.
Yeah,
they were in first edition.
Yeah, and there aren't any more, which means that verisimilitude has never been the intention.
Yeah. So, if they just said, that's boring, let's put them over here because that allows more interesting builds, I think everyone would have been on board for that. But that's beside the point anyway.
Well, the stat numbers in D&D are so low that those racial differences actually mattered. And as far as I don't really care that much about the core mechanical side of D&D very much anymore. Mm-hmm. But back when I was playing, I really enjoyed the fact that different sexes and races had different stat values, because your elves are supposed to be a little more dexterous and not as strong. Same with your girls.
Yeah, it's. I feel that the situation is one where if you're going to go rule system, you need to go to the wall with it. You don't say, oh well, we want to be all about storytelling here, and then bolt a board game to it. You need to either go with the rules or not.
Yeah.
Don't try and go part ways. Oh well, we were going with the rules up until now, but this makes us feel politically uncomfortable, so we're going to sort of not count them here, but we are going to count them here, and we're going to try and be realistic here, but we're just going to hand wave things that are obviously true here because it's we feel better about it if we do that. There's no consistency to the way they do things,
and it hurts organic storytelling as well. If you want to do that inside your board game, having the stat differences helps facilitate storytelling. It doesn't harm it. You can use it as a tool.
It's like if your gnome character manages to heroically lift a boulder off someone by rolling a natural 20, suddenly that means something.
Yeah,
but if he's the same strength as your half-orc barbarian, then it's not really going to matter. It's not going to make any sense mechanically to tell a story.
We're getting off track.
If your orc lady can sing at the bar so good, they don't care that she's Uggo and has a charisma score of 18. That's a story.
Yeah, but we're getting off track. So, we've got 1 D&D or 6e or 5.5, whatever it ends up being. I'm fully 100% expecting that when that launches, that will have a completely proprietary license attached to it. So, there's been some interesting things over the last few days that haven't been talked about widely, but there's been a few YouTubers have touched on them. Namely, a few large investment firms are just fed up with Hasbro at this point.
Mm-hmm.
One of which is even put forward the proposition to spin Wizards off on their own, get them out from under the Hasbro umbrella.
I think that would be best for everybody.
I think that would be best for everyone. So Hasbro is currently covered by Chris Cow, I think his name is pronounced. And he is not a popular person there because he's grossly mishandled both D&D and Magic the Gathering.
Is he the guy that thinks every game is basically a video game?
Yes. him. He's got no business running tabletop or card games because they're completely different things from a video game. He also was the one who championed hiring on a Xbox executive to run Wizards of the Coast, who also has no idea what a tabletop game is. But he's being currently blamed for the fiasco of the Magic the Gathering anniversary. Remember the $1,000 set they could give you, or you could buy, that was not tournament legal? Yeah, that was a thing. It was lots of really cool limited anniversary cards, and you couldn't use any of them.
How does that idea get all the way to release? Like,
because the people who are making the decisions have no idea what they're doing. So at the current moment, I'm thinking that the board is currently just waiting down the clock on him. That as soon as his contract is up, he's gone. So, yes, there's been pressure from the customers, but I think most of the pressure has come from the shareholders in this case. Citing the customer feedback and saying that, yeah, this is what you guys said, and given the numbers that they've said, what they've quoted, and I'm going to give maybe a 10% margin of error on those numbers, it's been overwhelming in favour of don't touch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you're getting 80, 90%, which is unheard of in internet polls.
Yeah, I found the real exit, by the way. It's this one.
Oh, it's over that one? Okay. So yeah, the quoting the customer feedback, I think, is just a way of them saving face.
well, because it's not like they couldn't have told you that would be the case.
Yeah.
This is not news to them. It doesn't take a genius to figure that out. They didn't seriously think the way that they have been, performatively stating. They never seriously thought that this wouldn't be basically uniformly upsetting.
Yeah, that's why they tried to sneak it through.
It was never a question of, maybe people actually want this. It was always a question of, can we get away with it?
Yeah. But we've been seeing some interesting other numbers that have come out from other companies. For example, Paizo has managed to sell 8 months of stock in 2 weeks. I actually did a flick around various stores, a lot of various stores and bookshops and things online before the show. Every single one of them is sold out of core rule books for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Every single one.
I think this is one half of the real reason they gave up on this.
Yeah, it's because Paizo is just eating their lunch, and if it's not Paizo, it's all the other ones.
Yeah, people are literally fleeing the product, and they can see that in like their D&D Beyond numbers.
And
the other thing is they can they were in the U.S. anyway. Serious legal gray room with change of that contract, and even if they could win those lawsuits, there would be so many of them. They would be throwing their money away in court with customers that even if you get awarded the amount, most of them probably can't pay it.
Yeah,
and you're just going to be stuck with a mountain of legal fees and bad PR.
Yeah. There was absolutely no win for them on this. There's other signs as well that there's internal pressure, like Hasbro has sacked a whole bunch of people in the last couple of days. They also sold off the studio that is currently producing the D&D movie. But, the movie that is not even launched yet.
Makes sense to me.
There's a community pushback, of course, to not watch the movie because that involves giving Wizards money. And people have done exactly what you really should do in this situation, and that is vote with your wallet. But the thing is it's taken Wizards so long to back down, and they were so condescending in the process, is even though people have gotten everything they want to, they're still not going back.
Yeah, like, I would say shake the dust from your feet and let them rot. You don't need Wizards. They've shown that they have nothing but contempt for you, and that hasn't changed.
Yeah.
They aren't going to turn over a new leaf.
What you've seen over the last month or so has been a bunch of people go out, they've tried new systems and realize, hey, this is pretty good, let's play this instead.
Yeah.
Well, and what you've seen from WotC is that they hate you, and that they always have, as far as the current management goes.
Yeah,
And-
there is,
and when
and
it
the thing is, there was absolutely zero reason for them to do any of this.
This is a story I hear a lot from. It doesn't matter which side of the roleplay or the tabletop role playing system you're on. If you prefer the mechanics or you prefer the roleplay side, every time somebody that just does D&D because it's what they do and it's what they know.
Well, it's almost
system.
it's almost synonymous with tabletop, right?
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
D&D is very close to being a generic product name.
it
We're
basically it
silenced,
is
by
at
the
this
way. We
point.
can't kill this thing.
Yeah, well, we're all silenced. That's
No,
awkward.
Ball's not silenced. That's why I was saying it.
Oh, I mean, I can do this.
Yeah, now we're not.
Now we're
silenced
fine.
anymore. But
So yeah, D&D has become generic at this point.
Well, I mean, that's important to say though, that no, D&D hasn't become generic, because if they were legally generic, then they'd be even in bigger strife.
Yeah, that's
Because then they
true.
wouldn't even have the trademark to their name anymore.
Yeah.
yeah,
There would be no such thing as a D&D product once they become generic.
Yes.
yeah. They but I hear this story time and time again from people that switch off D&D either for mechanical or roleplay reasons. When they go to try out a new system, they're like, no matter what system they pick, this is so much better in D&D.
Yeah. And it's been one that I've seen repeated a lot over the last couple of days, is that
Well, I mean,
people have spotted faults, big faults in 5th edition that you usually don't spot until you take a step back.
yeah, well, D&D has always traded on being sort of like the median point between many different types of play, and as an entryway to the hobby. They've traded on the power of their name more than anything else over the course of years, and there's not really any reason for people not to start there if they're going to start with tabletop, because that's what they will have heard of. That's what's sort of like culturally accessible. But because it's trying to be all things to all men, it's just not really good at anything.
Yeah. Normally, well, before all this kicked up, I would have said that 5e is a fantastic place to get your feet wet and then branch out.
I'm bringing friends.
Oh, you are.
Really. I'm not really a huge fan of 5e. Like, if I'm gonna play a system, I'm perfectly all right with 3.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we
I
play
would say
Pathfinder,
for the
which is-
0.5 was hardly even necessary. Like the 3.0 was sufficient.
Yeah, it
Had some
wasn't,
issues, but it was sufficient.
wasn't 0.5 basically a way of trying to fix those issues?
There's a way of selling a whole bunch more core rulebooks.
Well, yes. But the thing
It
is, this
doesn't
isn't even the
mean-
first time they've done this. Remember 4th edition? 4th edition,
Fourth edition
came
was
with
a clown show.
aside from being just a terrible system, it was also wrapped in the proprietary license.
It's just the cloud boss.
Yep.
Yeah. Who I can never remember how he properly works.
Stand underneath a cloud. Get knocked into cloud. Stay underneath cloud until clouds explode.
So, yeah. Well, we'll see how everything shakes out over the next couple of weeks, I suppose, but I don't foresee WotC getting back their market share anytime soon. It's going to be years before they build up that sort of trust again.
Well, they'll keep whatever they retained, and
What
they'll
little they
still get.
retained.
They
Yeah,
still
they'll
have the
get-
power of their name too.
They
Like,
do.
that hasn't gone away, because the people who aren't involved in the hobby today, if they get involved in the hobby independently rather than being drawn in by somebody else, D&D is still going to be the place that they start, because they weren't paying attention to this debacle because they weren't in the hobby at the time.
Yeah. Although it did make mainstream media, so there was that too.
Yeah, but it's a novelty story to fill space. It's not really.
Yeah,
It's not. It doesn't have a lot of weight.
Yeah.
remember that
unless you're-
video you linked to me, Fern? It is that to normies.
It is. Yeah, it is that. This is some bullshit. Which I actually found the original of that. It turned out it came from The Onion. Who'd have thought?
Yeah, like 15 years ago when the Onion occasionally had something funny.
Yeah. Back when The Onion could laugh. Oh no, I'm capped on Titan Stones. Whatever shall I do?
I'm more Umberite.
So yeah. It's been an absolute circus from start to finish, but I think honestly, at the end of this, the community's going to be stronger for it in the end.
Yeah,
It just
anything
means they're going to
to
move on
split
without
more people
WotC.
off. Yeah, anything to get people away from WotC and D&D in general, I think is healthy for the roleplay community.
Yeah. Like, a lot of people have gone to Pathfinder. There's a bunch of people who are waiting to see what Project Black Flag ends up being. There's a few people who've gone to World of Darkness, Call of Cthulhu, some of the superhero ones. Basically, you name a system and people have gone to it. Every other system has benefited.
Well, I mean, a lot of people just were running in their groove because they didn't have a reason to leave, and then they got ticked off, or they were pulled along by somebody who was. And, you know, it might not stick with them, but it will be at least a novelty that will hold their attention and will break the seal on trying other systems.
Yeah. And I'd like to actually see third-party content creators make content for, you know, systems other than D&D. Because everyone just makes for 5e, because that's where all the customers are.
There's a reason every single gosh darn homebrew system and setting I cook up has nothing to do with anything tangentially related to the high fantasy style of D&D.
Mm-hmm.
I've done it so much, I'm just sick to death of it.
Yeah, high fantasy is... I mean, it's fine for a visit.
High fantasy is fine, but I'm talking specifically about the D&D style. It has a just... I can't think of the right word for it.
Honestly, I don't think it works for anything but high fantasy anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't buy it when it's used in systems where there are things like guns and that.
Yeah.
Like, there are rules for guns and things, but you need a source book, and they're not haven't been added to the base rules.
Yeah, especially when it comes down to skills and armor, the way armor class works in D&D. Like, the whole idea of armor class requires some form of armor, and it makes the most sense if that armor is physical.
Yeah. Well, it's either physical armor or dodgy tankiness.
Yeah, like I was always a bit incredulous because they pasted essentially they used the I think 3.0 or might have been 3.5 engine to do KOTOR, and there's a lot about that game mechanically that makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, just don't think about it too much
because it's a skin on Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, I think it was 3.5, but yeah, they used the basically they copy pasted the rule set out of Neverwinter Nights.
Neverwinter Nights rule set was 3.0.
Yeah,
it was.
If you take the text log of KOTOR, you will see it's just the D&D D20 system.
It is the D20 system, yeah.
Point for point, it is just the D20 system.
But don't pay attention to that. Here, look, here's the genocidal robot. Everyone loves him.
Also means it's totally possible to brick your build in KOTOR if you try to get too wacky.
Oh yeah, it absolutely is.
It also means that some of the best builds are like purely blaster focused.
Yeah. The game gives you a lightsaber. You just put it away and never use it.
Yeah, the blaster can get like 5 attacks on its rapid fire or something that all have like plus 4 to hit or something nuts like that.
No thanks, I have a gun. So yeah, we shall see. I think we're going to start seeing a lot of interesting content coming out from various places that are not WotC over the next year or so.
Well, yeah, it'll be good to keep an eye on the other stuff. I am still interested in if WotC feels shaken enough by this to try and salvage the brand by doing more stuff. I don't know how shaken their higher-ups were by just how bad of a boo-boo they realized this was.
Yeah, we shall see, because the whole point for this is... I know they put their excuses in the posts, and yeah, that's true, but they also tried to hide behind a inclusivity screen, which nobody believed. But they basically wanted to secure their market share on the virtual tabletop space, among other things.
I wish tabletop... It doesn't work for tabletop to be inclusive within universe. It just doesn't. The fact of the matter is different races don't like each other. Different races are different genders are different. And these things make for interesting and varied characters, and I want them to just dump this inclusivity crap from every tabletop, period. Yeah. It stifles character writing and world building for the DM.
All of the people who make these games are hippies, so...
Yeah. As far as the community goes, though, it's always been very inclusive. As long as you're willing to show up and, play the game, have some fun.
Well, inclusive in the old meaning of the word, not inclusive in the new meaning
not
of the word.
Not inclusive in the new meaning, which means
everybody has to be wound tight as a horse about their race and gender and where they want to stick their schlong or whatever.
Yeah, as long as you show up to the table, don't be a dick, and spring for pizza when it's your turn. Everyone has a good time. It's great.
Man, I always was on the food duty because nobody else would pay and I would get hungry.
Everyone's got to take their turn at snacks. It's the only way to be fair. Unless you know.
I wish I had this mythical group that would pay for food. The amount of times I had to go out and get pizza or Zaxby's when nobody else would pay.
Yeah, your players were tight asses. So
they're all cheap mofos.
Here's the thing about the virtual tabletop space at the moment. They're crap. 90% of the offerings out there are crap. Not that they're not usable. Like, Roll20 is great in a lot of ways, but it is also very system agnostic, and it has a nasty habit of exploding when you look at it funny. Fantasy Grounds, the same. Forge, also the same. If WotC really wanted to, they've got their really shiny virtual tabletop coming out that is D&D focused. They could have just made the best damn virtual tabletop they could for D&D.
Yeah.
And people would have used it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because that doesn't disturb the normies, right? Like, people who are going to run in their crew and do D&D because D&D is what they know and D&D is all they've ever done. And buying another D&D product is just, another day at the races for them.
Yeah. So just make the best damn product you can and hope and entice people away from the self-destructing Roll20, which has a nasty habit of deleting character sheets, for example.
But you see, that strategy won't actually marginalize their opponents.
Yeah, exactly. Their opponents will still be there and still taking part in the market share, and they can't have that.
Yeah, if one of the
their goal is not to make D&D better. Their goal is to make nobody else able to play anything but.
Make all of the money.
Hey, companies, if you make a good virtual tabletop that is fairly freeform, even if I don't give a crap about your rulebook, I will pay for it so that I can have access to a decent virtual tabletop that just put figures on and move them around.
Yeah.
Don't tell Zuckerberg, he'll try and tell you Meta does that.
Yeah, that's kind of what he does, and then he licks his own eyeballs, so watch out for that.
Like Pathfinder, if you want me to just buy your product even though I don't really care for your systems, do that.
Yeah. The three major tabletops at the moment are very good, but they're very spread out, and they are also very unstable, especially when you start loading large campaigns and homebrew into them.
Yeah, or you're forced to use the dreaded tabletop simulator where there's a flip table button that everyone always has access to.
They've learned their lesson on that. You can actually disable the button now.
Oh, that takes some of the... I'm keeping it on.
I always spend all my time just trying to do weird stuff with it. Like, the game completely falls into the background next to doing strange things with the tools available to you.
Oh yeah, you can have so much fun just faffing about in Tabletop Simulator.
I don't know if you were there, Vol, but Fern was there. And when I was mucking around with it in VR...
Yes!
had the stupid hands.
Yeah, these giant flappy hands buzzing around the screen, and it's actually kind of cool.
I don't know, it sounds like something out of a fever dream.
Oh, it does. Absolutely
a bad
is.
LSD trip.
Something out of Prince Andrew's bathroom.
Oh no.
He talked to his toilet.
I could believe that.
So yeah. On this note, though, I've been inspired by this stuff to actually try and sit down and put a universe together. I've got two ideas I'm rolling with. One that I'm starting to get more attached to.
Yep.
All I want to do is play an endless succession of Holy Grail wars.
It's one of the ideas for the setting that I'm getting more attached to is kind of the opposite of the Nasuverse, where instead of mystery disappearing steadily and getting harder to come by, it's becoming more accessible.
That could be fun.
And magic's coming back.
If I play in this again, will I be allowed to use Guan Yu as a servant this time? You didn't know who he was last time.
I'm not going to do any type of Nasuverse related campaign because Bolasel will actually me the whole time. So we're not doing that.
Well, you need to know how the world works. Like I never suggested anything rule breaking. All I did was say, no, this is actually the rules of the setting.
Yeah, so I'm
I
not doing
no
the
idea how the universe worked at the time. I still barely do.
I'm not doing the post-edit wars that I'm sure that thing's had wiki dive either. But I have got some ideas that'll work with the two-person setting, and I will have some free time in the middle of February. Not super free time, but it'll be a normal work cycle where I won't have anything special going on. and I was thinking about trying to put something together, or at least get Act 1 put together and started. And if we can find some kind of virtual thing, might look at seeing if we can do some kind of show special or something.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
And, that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
The hard part is writing for 2 people as players.
Yeah.
Yeah, I admit
Yeah.
I've actually also fallen in the world building rabbit hole. I've had an idea for a world which would kind of work with Pathfinder or Starfinder, depending on which way you want to approach it. Well,
Yeah,
Starfinder is
I've-
basically
I've-
Pathfinder in space, so
I've got an old computer lying around that has some notes for a setting I was designing that was intended to work with 3.5.
yeah.
But I never really finished it because I couldn't work out narratively how to cross the amount of distance required to tell the story of the scope that I wanted.
Yeah. Actually, I just find sometimes the idea of world building itself just fun. You can just sit down and think about how this world would work. Like, put in
Oh yeah.
figure
Yeah,
out,
but
like,
then you end up like Brandon Sanderson releasing like books which are just reams and reams of magic rules.
yeah, you don't want to fall down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, that boy, talk about an author that's more miss than hit.
Yeah.
That's it's one of the reasons why I like the Nasuverse magic system so much, is because it runs on bullshit.
Yes, it
Like,
does.
magic in the Nasuverse literally runs on bullshitting yourself that something is possible.
The whole story structure of every single Nasuverse story is, this should be impossible, and here's all the reasons why it is. Now watch a story where it actually happens.
Yeah, let's ignore all that and let's do it anyway. And we'll think of the reason why it works later, maybe. Yeah.
Well, then they'll use that as precedent to set up a new rule that they'll then break in the sequel.
Or spin off a new universe.
So yeah. That's an idea I'm floating.
The only consistent rule across the Nasuverse is that if somehow Liz gets involved with a plan, it will all go pear-shaped.
Yes.
Oh dear.
The other rule
So,
is, of
yeah.
course, the rule of cool is always in effect.
So yeah. Was there any other news?
I don't think there
we're
was
talking about?
particularly.
The only thing I can think of is that they announced that Grand Blue Versus is being wound up in preparation for the release of the sequel.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
and it's and the RPG isn't dead.
Yes.
Yeah, they finally released new content of that. Oh, also the new fighting game will have rollback netcode.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, Grand Blue Fantasy versus the first one has some of the worst netcode I've ever had to deal with.
I don't understand why either. It's not like Arc System Works doesn't know how to do netcode.
They tried some weird hybrid of their in-house netcode and some other type of netcode, and it does not work at all.
I respect them for trying though, because it would be nice if a world existed where people didn't just constantly jerk off over rollback netcode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're capitulating the sequel to rollback. You can sometimes get a decent rollback connection cross country. That chance is not very high though.
Oh, good grief. Okay. That's how slow in Newsweek was it when the front page of a gaming website is talking about the HoloLive FES.
Oh, well, Niche Gamer has made some changes.
Yeah, did they roll in their anime branch?
I don't know what they did, but they made some changes. You got to be a subscriber now to see the comments.
That's
And stuff.
probably a good thing, actually. It means it gives me all the more reason not to subscribe.
Yeah,
They do have one of the most conventionally toxic
comment sections.
comment
Yeah.
sections on the internet.
But I
and
always,
to a certain
I always,
extent, I respected them for that.
I always enjoyed it being there. Knowing just not to scroll to that point and that it existed made me happy.
Yes, it was sort of nice that that it's like, oh well, there's this one place that you know is just complete anarchy at all times.
Yeah. That no matter how dumb a take is, you will find someone spreading it in that comment section. Oh, right.
But,
There is...
Or Sally's got a bunch of people on board now. He's got to give them some money somehow. So I don't really blame him for putting
Yeah.
a subscription thing on.
Yeah,
They made some big changes to the website under the hood too, and rolled a few. I think they did roll a few of their branches in, so I don't see as many affiliate links.
Looks a little bit less Web 1.0.
Yeah,
and it's this is the reason we had trouble doing news, because Niche Gamer was completely down last week. We couldn't even attempt to do news segments because it was dead.
yeah.
Well, you don't
And
need
we
to just use them. I don't pull just from Niche Game.
I don't
Well,
use
Tech
them
Raptor
from
was
places.
Tech
I've
Raptor was
never
down
pulled-
too.
I never pull
And,
from Tech Raptor because I can't make that site work on my PC.
That's because they can't leave it alone for 5 minutes. Every time I go to Tech
Yeah.
Raptor, they've rearranged it.
They change the layout more often than Google revamps YouTube.
Yeah. It's like, leave it
Yeah,
alone.
so-
Stop.
So both of my main news source websites were completely down last week, and anything that I could try and search through had all broken images and effed up text.
Yeah. So there's only a couple of other little news nuggets out there that we can quickly touch on, and then it's going to probably have to be a shorter show this week anyway. So
There ain't a whole lot else.
Yeah.
So
the first one is that Forspoken came out, and it's getting exactly the reception I expected it would.
Critical Darling.
No,
People are cringing themselves into a black hole over the dialogue.
there you go. Yeah, great game,
The,
but
the,
completely
the
insufferable
funny
main
part is
character.
that the funny part is that the Zoomers don't understand why people are upset about the dialogue.
It's awful. It is
It's because they
absolutely
all
dreadful.
talk just like that. Like all the media they consume is full of people who talk like that. They talk like that. All the
Yeah.
streamers they watch talk like that. They think that the dialogue is totally normal because none of them have read a book before.
Real people don't talk like that.
Oh, so cringe.
It
And
is.
what's more, I bet that not a single iota of the message will make it back to the creatives. Like they won't. Either they will dismiss it as toxic fans, or they will simply not understand that people object to the dialogue. That the dialogue destroys the experience on its own, and the game is only mediocre, so it can't make it on its own in spite of it.
Yeah. So honestly, everyone expected this sort of reaction. Also, the game runs like absolute garbage on a PC as well. There's that too. And the only other nugget that I really have to see come across this week is the ongoing Hogwarts saga.
What have there been new developments? Because I haven't been following it, and I was sort of like loosely in the camp of drifting towards buying it just to upset people.
Oh yeah. Well, new developments is probably a bit strong a word. It's more like the same development, just getting louder. Because you've got the people who are all out crying, who is a very, very shrill minority. But people are ignoring them. And they're getting shriller and shriller.
Yeah.
You've got news sites that want to actually cover it because that's what's getting clicks at the moment, and it is still apparently a very interesting game. People are very interested in it. So they just put a half-assed disclaimer at the bottom of it. Something along the lines of, don't care. Or it's like, Rowling is a bad person. Okay, we said it, go away.
Yeah, the typical screen you would expect. I'm curious though. Let me Hogwarts Legacy.
I mean, if I was a kid and when I was in the kind of the read the Harry Potter phase, I'd probably be all over this game. I remember Harry Potter on the PS1, where everyone went to bed every 5 minutes. The average length of a day was about 5 to 10 minutes.
The Harry Potter game I remember the most was Prisoner of Azkaban on the Game Boy Advance.
Oh yeah,
I never played a Harry Potter video game at all, not even one.
It was one standard unit JRPG with a Harry Potter skin.
with a Harry Potter skin, yeah.
But yeah, I'm curious.
So my sister did kick me in the childhood a couple of over Christmas in case of you realize in Harry Potter books from start to finish they all solve every problem exactly the same way. And the more I've thought about it, because shit, she's right.
Well, I thought it was an in-joke in the universe, wasn't it? That ultimately they're going to get hauled up in front of the headmaster at the end of the story for having done shenanigans.
Yes. And for going
the
off
same every
and doing
time.
stupid things instead of, doing the sensible thing and telling an adult.
Well, I mean, a lot of the adults are sort of not really trustworthy, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing is that in certain unintended, well, it seems somewhat unintended given the modern context, ways, the setting was a very scathing reflection of the real world, in that it was a world full of people who just stick their heads in the sands and ignore problems, a media that's only interested in lying to you to uphold the orthodoxy, and a government that does nothing but wring its hands and try and get itself re-elected.
Yeah. But even after the point where they've established that, yes, they can trust most of the teachers, they still do things exactly the same way. They still just go off half-cocked.
Yeah, they run off on their own with not really any kind of plan, get themselves in deep trouble, and then luck out of the situation in the end.
The last 2 books were entirely that.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. If you had fond memories of all the adventures in Harry Potter, just remember, they're all exactly the same.
They're children's stories.
They are children's
That's the thing that people seem to forget that. They're just children's stories. You don't need to expect anything particularly profound from them.
No, they just need to be fun.
Yeah, like I read those books through elementary and high school.
Yeah, I think I was roughly the same age. I think that I was already in... By the time the last one came out, I was in university.
Yeah, I think I was in late high school when it came out. Maybe mid high school, and I continued reading it because I'd already read the other ones.
Yeah. So yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed them. I enjoyed them well enough when I was a child. They tell an interesting fantasy story. And there are other authors who also tell interesting fantasy stories about kids going to magic school and doing things, and I don't really see any of them as any different from each other. I don't really see Harry Potter as being special.
No, not
Or
really.
being, conscripted warriors in the fight against slugs that are invading from outer space.
With a really unsatisfying ending.
Yeah, I never read that all the way to the end, so I don't even know how it
wasn't
ends,
until-
except apparently it's pretty damn grim.
It is.
Yeah, it's bad.
It wasn't until years
Everybody's
later.
dead.
Like, as a kid, I read most of them. It wasn't until years later I actually read the ending. And I was like,
Oh, yeah.
wow, I was happier not knowing this.
Yeah, you're happier not reading the ending to Animorphs because it ends like 3 seconds away from the entire cast being dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember though that when I was young, I suppose it's probably true to a certain extent. When I was young, one of the things that annoyed me the most, that was a trend in children's and young adult fiction, is when they will spend an entire series ship teasing 2 of the lead characters, and then there's a distant epilogue where it turns out, oh yeah, but they never got together, their relationship fell apart, and they ended up marrying completely different people. Which is realistic. It's realistic, maybe, but that's not what you did the entire story for.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's even worse with Animorphs because, spoiler alert for a approaching 30-year-old series now.
Don't make me feel old.
The Rachel dies. Her ship tease with Tobias is completely sunk. He goes into a suicidal depression and kidnaps her ashes at the funeral, and is somehow conned by Jake into getting back on a Andalite Blade ship to go ram a new threat as they're all about to die horribly.
Yeah. So,
Is that strictly necessary?
I mean, poor Tobias. He'd been through so much.
Yeah, talk about just having your life completely ruined for you for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, that boy gets the whole kitchen sink of issues thrown at him.
He does
And
get
it does not get easier.
He does get an alien horse best friend. At least there's something. A silver lining.
Yeah, but that's not a girlfriend that he gets to watch die and then go into a suicidal depression over.
No, that is not. That is just alien horse best friend. But
Was
anyway,
there an in-universe explanation for why Rachel devolved into a thrill-seeking psychopath so much?
She's just crazy.
yeah, she just kind of goes crazy, and there's really no reason for it.
The nature of her personality and the stress of the situation just cause her to snap.
Yeah.
And it's a slow snap over time, where she gets more and more bloodthirsty.
Yeah, not like Marco's snap where he suddenly finds out that his mum is the evil.
Well, that's more like that's not so much a snap as much as a book plot point that's fairly understandable.
Yeah. So that makes sense.
I feel like Rachel's descent into madness is just that's a little bit too much of a mature theme for the target audience. I feel
The whole ending
it's
kind
like
of is.
there's somebody like thoroughly mentally unraveling due to the pressure that they're under.
Yeah.
Like, how is that going to be accessible to an audience of children?
There's a whole lot of things you could say that about them books.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, leave off maybe the last 5 books.
Oh
Honestly,
yeah,
at this point, I would rather just say don't start.
Yeah.
Better if you don't.
yeah. There's a whole lot. Animorphs is a product of its age.
Yeah, yeah. You can't have another book about a kid turning into a fly and then having his internal gizzards smeared across the ceiling of a plane compartment.
But
Yeah,
speaking, I don't want to think about the gore that book had in it. It was really.
It was
over the edge.
really gory for a kid's book.
Are there books being written like that anymore? Because there used to be a lot of them when I was growing up.
Oh yeah,
Like where the book is about a centimeter thick, and there's like a new one every couple months or something.
yeah,
And
like
you're always on the lookout for the latest issue. Are there still books being written
There'd
like
have
that?
to be.
I want to believe there are, but I don't know any series because I'm not a kid.
You don't, and kids don't read anymore. They just watch TikTok.
Yeah.
I really think it is that they just watch streamers. So those little, like, you know, your Goosebumps or your Animorphs or your elementary school's first reading books. So if a kid really likes reading, they have this whole big book series just don't exist anymore.
Yeah. Like, there was so many of them. Scholastic used to be the big publisher for them, dude. They had hundreds
They
of
used
them.
to churn them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I'd go to the library and there'd be a new Goosebumps or Animorphs every single, like, 3 months.
Yeah, the Wheel of Time?
Okay, holy
Oh,
crap.
everyone?
I just realized the phrase "I would go to the library" dates me.
Holy crap,
Yeah,
yes.
I spent half my early life in the library. Like,
I-
practically lived there because my mother worked there for a while. So I spent a lot of time in the library.
In the house that I just built in Final Fantasy, my bedroom is a library because it's such an influential part of my life.
I like books.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
you've already seen the photos of my books.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, man, that's I feel old now.
I do have a handful of books in the ebook format, but not very many. They're mainly ones that I can't get print versions for one reason or another.
Yeah,
Like, I have the Bakemonogatari novels on ebook because like you can't buy them anywhere. I've got a few others like that as well.
Let's see.
yeah.
I will ask
Even
the
with the
internet.
Dresden Files, I've gone back and bought the physical copies. 'cause
Okay.
I like just having the physical books.
So let me see. If I go to Scholastic's website, what's current? So I think it looks like there's a couple. Oh, wow. Animorphs is on here, though. With very strange alternate covers.
Are they just
Not that
reselling
the
same-
original covers weren't very strange.
Well, point.
Like, if I just opened my drawer, I could probably just take a picture of some of the wackier colors.
They got a tin set of how many books for $33? That's interesting.
Trying
They
to
don't-
get rid of old stock.
So yeah, anyway, let's see. What are the current booksellers? Go the bestsellers. That's where you usually
I
find
just
them.
remember them being very abundant when I was growing up. Lots of those
All right, here we go.
ongoing series.
We've got one called I Survived, which is about basically kids getting out of murderous situations. There's Darkstalker, which is a book about dragons.
I also remember that there was like half a dozen different series which they were targeted at girls, which is just about girls riding horses.
There was there's like 3 different series of them on one time.
Or your knockoff Nancy Drews that were just girls solving mysteries.
On
Saw a lot
horses
of them.
sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone in the millennial generation, like the entire span of the millennial generation, which is 1981 through 1996, like they all know what a horse girl is, right?
Yes. No,
Those
we're not
girls that are
talking
just
about that anime.
They're just monomaniacally obsessed with everything horses, even if they've never touched one before, for some reason.
It was a thing young girls go through.
Yeah.
Were they-
Is that still a thing, though? Does that still happen, or is that a product of the time that we lived in?
It might be a product of the time. I'm not seeing any Horse Girl book series on the site.
So I remember it because I remember.
Oh wait, here we go. Here's a retro
most
one.
of the Hololive girls, the Ian Hololive girls, all have discussed at one point or another whether or not they were horse girls growing up.
Yep.
But it seems to be only Hollow EN has talked about this topic, and it seems to be just people of a certain age understand the topic.
Yeah, it was either Horse Girls or Babysitters Club was the other big one.
I don't know what that was about. It seemed very strange because babysitting really wasn't a phenomenon in New Zealand.
Well, they didn't really do a whole lot of babysitting from what I understand. They did a whole lot of mystery solving.
And they did a whole lot of sneaking away with their boyfriend.
Yeah, not so much. These kids were too young for that.
These are sort of for prepubescent girls.
Yeah.
They thought about those things as sort of a fantasy for being an adult, not really something they were interested in.
Yeah.
So
there's still a few of those big
posted my Animorphs collection in the live show chat.
You and your Animorphs.
So yeah, there's still a few of those big Scholastic series going, and they're still doing reruns and re-releases of some of the old ones, like Animorphs. So that's good to know.
Yeah, I remember there were some Star Wars ones.
Yeah, they did a Star Wars trading card game at one point.
I read the Galaxy of Fear series and a whole bunch of the other tiny ones.
Oh, I remember reading one which was about. I think it was about when. I think it was about when Obi-Wan was being trained or something. Like it was sort of like adventures that he went on when he was just learning, when he was very young.
But none of that's canon anymore.
No, it's all been extinguished from reality. There was a magic fantasy one that I read like the first 5 or 6 books of, called Diadem.
I remember Diadem. I love Diadem.
I thought it was cool, but the library didn't get some of the later ones, so I had no idea how the story went. But it was very, very strange and interesting story. It seemed like their enemies were themselves, except older or something.
Like you had one kid who was from basically our world. You had another kid who was from this future dystopia where everyone was stuck online or stuck in AI, and then you had a girl from a magical fantasy world. All trying to get along. They all had really clashing personalities, so it was a real battle for them to get along with each other, but eventually they did, but their older selves all seemed to loathe each other. Yeah.
And they all have one particular magic trick that they can do that seems really petty, but always ends up being like the main thing that is necessary to solve problems or whatever.
Sometimes with a bit of a contrivance to it, yes.
Yeah. But I don't remember much about how it went, but I remember thinking it was really interesting when I was a kid.
Yeah, it was really cool having all this universe hopping going on and 3 completely different characters.
And it was Spooksville. Did you ever read any of those?
Spooksville I missed.
Yeah, it was sort of like a kids horror series. It was basically this town is like I don't remember where it was set, but it was an American small sort of American suburban town type of area, except for reasons that weren't really explained, at least in the early books that I read. It just happens to be ground zero for all kinds of paranormal phenomena, and it sort of there's a famous witch once lived there called, like, I think her name was Madeline Templeton or something like that, and her effect on the town over the course of years and the things that she got up to caused it to basically become this nexus of horrible things happening, and the cast of characters constantly got drawn into these things, and there's this particular, if you walked around these landmarks in the town in a particular order, you would arrive randomly in some other version of that town in a parallel universe, and that sort of thing.
That actually sounds really cool.
Oh my goodness, they must be really scratching the bottom of the barrel. In 2020, they started making an audiobook series for the entire Animorphs series, and they're still going. They're up to book 50.
Huh.
Except for one book, which apparently had copyright problems.
What?
Ghost Riders.
Oh, right, of course. So yeah. Anyway, we should start wrapping up because we went way off the rails because, frankly, talking about Harry Potter wasn't all that interesting.
Well, and we're old, and so rambling about the past is sort of within our bailiwick.
Also that.
Oh my goodness, reading the reviews on these is terrifying. At least there are other old people in the world.
I love the idea of bringing forth some of that old stuff as audiobooks.
Yeah, apparently they have 6 different narrators for all the characters.
Ooh.
I am not spending a whole credit on these books. They are, like, the only books that's worth to buy individually at $8 instead of the 1 credit.
Yeah.
The 1 credit is more expensive than the Animorph book.
Alright, let us wrap up then, shall we?
Alright, folks. Email topic of the week. Are there kids' books still? Did you read any kid books?
Tell us
You
about
won't
your
give me
kids'
an email.
books.
You won't do the email topic of the week anyway, so I don't know why I'm asking you. But
Yeah, do small humans read anymore?
No, they watch Cocomelon. As I am frequently reminded by parents turning their phones on at top volume.
The hell is a Cocomelon?
It's incredibly asinine children's TV. Basically, it's the sort of thing you sit a kid down to shut them up.
is it like Teletubbies?
And not quite that asinine, but pretty close.
Because... Okay, I don't want to send us down another
Yeah,
rabbit hole.
let's not.
Alright, folks. I think we're done. We'll see you next week. Sayonara. Bye-bye.